Penguin presents The Econocracy by Joe Earl, Cahal Moran, and Zach Ward Perkins. Read by Jonathan Keeble. Forward. I'm writing this forward in the immediate aftermath of the referendum in which the UK voted to leave the European Union. That vote by the general public came against the advice of professional economists, the vast majority of whom believed that the economic costs of exit would be high. If ever there were a battle between econocracy and democracy, this was it. It's also pretty clear who won. Time alone will tell whether there was greater wisdom among crowds than among experts. But if nothing else, this episode lays bare the distance the economics profession needs to travel if it's to win heads, to say nothing of hearts. Perhaps that should come as no surprise. The past few years have witnessed an economic and financial crisis as great as any in anyone's lifetime. It's a crisis whose aftershocks are still being felt, whose wounds are still weeping. Some of the enormous collateral damage from that crisis has been felt, not unreasonably, by the economics profession. Indeed, it would not be too much of an exaggeration to say that the financial crisis has spawned a crisis in economics and finance. At root, this was every bit as much an analytical crisis as an economic and financial one. And this is not the first time. Much the same occurred after the Great Depression of the 1930s. Back then, catastrophic intellectual error gave rise to catastrophic policy error, with catastrophic economic consequences. This time's crisis may not have torn the economic and social fabric quite as violently as the one in the 1930s, but it was sourced in intellectual and policy errors every bit as great. It took Keynes's leadership to diagnose and remedy those mistakes after the Great Depression, establishing him as the most influential economist of the 20th century. Crisis offered the opportunity of a great leap forward. Thus far, at least, the present crisis has yet to spawn a Keynes for the 21st century. And nor have we witnessed any great leap forward analytically. Perhaps it's simply early days. Revolutions, especially analytical ones, take time to build and grow. Indeed, they tend to proceed obituary by obituary. New brooms are needed to sweep clean. That means that salvation for the economics profession probably lies not among existing academic and policy-making dinosaurs like me, but among the new generation of students of the discipline. That makes this book, written by students drawn to the economics profession by the crisis, and then frustrated by the failings of that same profession to make sense of this very crisis, poignant and relevant. It's telling that the number of students applying to study economics has shot up over recent years. For them, crisis appears to have spelled opportunity, every bit as much as threat. The opportunity for another great intellectual leap forward, to reshape 21st century economic thinking as Keynes did in the 20th. This is one of the silver linings from the dark cloud of the crisis, and no profession could ask for a better endowment. But this endowment, if it is to renew and refresh the profession, needs to be invested wisely. That goes to the very heart of this book's critique. This critique goes beyond the narrowly technical, that the workhorse neoclassical model of the economy was found to be lame when it came to running a real crisis race. The deeper critique is that these models and the technical language that accompanies them have played a role in policy and in society that has been disproportionate in two senses. First, disproportionate relative to our state of knowledge. Existing economic frameworks have shouldered a policy weight that is simply too great for them to bear, given the degree of uncertainty and fragility that surrounds them. Second, disproportionate because these frameworks placed an excessive degree of policy power in the hands of the technocrats wielding them. This is what the authors call econocracy. Their contention is that this econocracy has been both too narrow in its technical focus and too broad in its societal impact. When assessing the potency of this critique, it's important to prize apart its trace elements. Part of the critique is technical. Mainstream economic models have sacrificed too much realism at the altar.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?